Ready. Run the titles.
Hello everybody and welcome to Radio Redux. Today we celebrate 20 years of this show. That's a horrible thought, isn't it? 20 years of Radio Redux. Although, in truth, the 20 mark was passed a little while ago. It's sort of 20 years and a smidge. Allow me to explain. Back in 2005, there was a young kid who was at university and he was sitting in a late night session trying to do 3D Studio Max. He wasn't very good at 3D Studio Max, he just didn't have the spatial recognition and comprehension for it. It was late at night, very late at night. He was bored, he was disillusioned by university in its entirety. And he decided to just do some browsing, just Google away at whatever, wherever. And he stumbled across a Sonic the Hedgehog fan site. That Sonic the Hedgehog fan site was, at the time, running some site awards for fan sites. And it was through that he made the decision to start a Sonic website, or rather add something Sonic related to his existing website. He'd been messing around with websites for several years at that point, based on GeoCities, which at the time was a pretty big thing. He had fond memories of Sonic. From the time Sonic 2 came out and he queued up on his then primary school friend Jamie Cox's staircase for the honour of playing as Tails in Sonic 2, along with about a dozen other kids. And when he got there, he died pretty much immediately, and that was the end of his turn, but it was exciting. Even that glimpse. He remembered fondly early Sunday mornings, sitting in front of a TV, watching Channel 4 in the UK. There, he'd get to see, this is before he was bundled off into a car because he played for the local youth football team at the time. There was always a match day on Sunday. Watching before that episode of The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, perhaps what the community knows in its shorthand as SATAM as well. Maybe even Underground. Maybe even an episode of Sharky and George if the VHS tape had taped it over correctly. And he would sit and he'd watch those, and that would be the start of his Sunday. A little treat before going off and playing football, which, let's be honest, he didn't really enjoy. He remembered those times. It's what made the decision for him Christmas 1994. He was sat down by his dad and he was given the option that, if Father Christmas came along and he had to pick up and make a decision Which way would he go? Game Boy or Game Gear? Well, Game Gear had colour for a start, which was a big selling point, and pretty good graphics. Honestly, you couldn't bear the idea of looking at that green screen for so long on the Game Boy. But they also had Sonic. And so, on Christmas Day, after being taken to the electronics boutique, which would eventually become Game in Eastbourne, and the Game Gear being purchased, and then hidden, and then forgotten about on Christmas Day until the child actually, pointed out that, oh, it's a shame that I didn't get the thing that you bought for me. The kid opened his present and received a SEGA Game Gear, which promptly broke, but never mind. It also came with Batman Returns. It came with Winter Olympics Lilyhammer 94, which is actually a pretty good game. It came with Sonic Triple Trouble, and it came with Sonic 2, the 8-bit version of Sonic 2. One of those Sonic games was amazing. It was not the latter. But remembering this, he made this website and started making a sprite comic, utilising video game sprites, official ones and unofficial ones, to craft stories. In time, he liked the idea of doing a radio show. There were people within the Sonic community that were doing radio shows. It was a radio show that he was listening to find out about those Sonic Awards. And he liked that idea. He was interested in radio. Had a background and interest in old radio shows. So he created Radio Redux. Redux is Latin for returned, if you're interested. So it's Radio Returned. Also, if you're one of the old school people from Inferial Online, or Eon, the forum that it had back in the day, that's why the badge, the award, and even the rank now on the LMC Discord is called its Latin for returned. It just means that you'd been on Radio Redux. There was initially a pilot show done, episode 0, if you'd like, and no one, to my knowledge, has ever heard that. Maybe it will one day make an appearance on Radio SEGA. We did have that Radio SEGA event some long time ago at this point, where old versions, like beta versions of shows were showcased, but Radio Redux wasn't a part of that at the time. Maybe it will come around again one day. Who knows? But it was November 2005 that the first episode of Radio Redux was put up to download in some fashion. It was also streamed. Don't ask me the platform. I have no idea. But this kid had done it. He'd joined the Sonic fan base and began interacting. He'd chosen the name Archangel UK, created in part from a character that he had already on this website that he had, and frankly was a lot better than his old username of Inferno239, which he'd used throughout tertiary college. He created, because it was the norm at the time, a character, a recolor of Knuckles the Echidna, that was grey and had purple shoes and slightly tinted gloves, because everyone had that at the time. Everyone had what would become known as a fursona. It was the norm. Everyone had one. No one batted an eye about it. Over time, that name would be shortened, and he'd become better known, perhaps, as AAUK. That kid was me. After the pilot went out, it actually did quite well. I got a lot of positive feedback on it. And when the opportunity came around, I added Radio Redux to Apple's iTunes store for their podcast section. They'd literally just done a whole heap of changing things around in order to accommodate podcasts. And one of the categories that they added was games. This would later be supplanted and video games would be added on its own, but games were a part of leisure at the time, I think. But games was its own subcategory. The first show, called The Beast is Unleashed, which would later be called The Beast is Unleashed Show. We added the show on to retroactively keep with the naming convention. That went out, technically, on February the 6th, 2006. At the time of recording, and indeed initial broadcast on Radio SEGA, this episode of Radio Redux, which is 271, the 8th of February 2026, one day away from my birthday and me turning 43. It's quite something looking back at that time. How things have changed. Through the early years, on to Season 3 and the starting broadcasting on Sega Sonic Radio, moving over and also joining Radio SEGA, becoming the first show in the community to broadcast on both platforms. This is after being one of the first podcasts in the world. Never mind the first Sonic the Hedgehog related podcast, which we certainly were listed on iTunes. We were one of the first podcasts full stop for video gaming. I think, if I remember rightly, it was like the number 14 in the world for video games listed on iTunes. Through those years and that partnership, part of that Super Sunday lineup, when it turned up, I stayed and created content. We even joined Sega Sonic Radio out of necessity. They were actually shy of programs at the time. And when we came to leave this in, I believe it was January 2012, we actually left Sega Sonic Radio for a number of reasons. In part because we were one of the people just still propping up the thing and were being treated like an asset as opposed to a partner. It was us and Turbo Drive Live and one of Blitzchris's shows, I think, or somebody else. Those were all the ones that were really left at that time. Whatever the case. From there, moving on, Radio SEGA, moving away from live shows so much into recorded shows, hitting the 200th show. If you have any fondness for the days of old, by the way, listen to what is 200X, the show before the show, which has clips of literally the previous 199 shows, just quite dramatically set, and you just hear it over time. From it just being me to it being me and Blake Draco and sometimes Echo Hawk when she woke up, to just being me again, the occasional guest, Rex Factor, everything. Radio Redux was a part of the Sonic community. SEGA even used Radio Redux. It was, for a little while, known as the unofficial official Sonic the Hedgehog podcast. Because SEGA would use me, well, we knew they used me, to put out some news in a way that would be, difficult to put out on the official blogs, but could be easily relayed via the podcast. We'd hit that 200 show and we went away, and after several years came back for Radio Sega's Winterfest because I was asked. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Radio Redux went away simply because I just didn't have enough time. In many ways, nothing's changed, has it? Think of what I actually do now. I do all the video editing for LMC. I still, write a bunch of stuff, the scripts for the comics when we do them. I do this show and the editing thereof. I do the website and the graphics, and for the majority of that time I was pretty much the only real active member of the website. Historically, that's always been the case. I'm now the custodian of the TSSZ archive, so I'm sorting that out. Doing projects relating to securing other old community media, other old podcasts that may have disappeared, trying to hunt down lost media. I'm about to become executive producer of a podcast for the place I'm working at the moment. I am the executive producer of Turbo Drive Live. I am editor-in-chief not only of Last Minute Continue, but another project that is going on that involves Skyblaze and that will see the light of day eventually, properly. Things weren't different back then. It became a necessity for Radio Redux to go away, and if I'm honest about it, I wasn't enjoying it. Radio Redux had become a chore. When it came back, a lot more of the fun came into things. We evolved over time. Much like the situation with the theme evolved. Oh, it's always used, from Bubblegum Crisis 2040. Apart from that one period of time where we used Saliva's Ladies and Gentlemen for the live shows. The early live shows on Sega Sonic Radio. But the show has always evolved. And like I say, whether it was me, or whether it was me and Blake Draco, now Dusk, or whether it was me, Blake Draco, Echo Hawk, some combination of guests, DC back in the day, Earthart, people like Vija, my friends. The show continues to evolve, and as of this season, the 11th season, we finally got round to doing an 11th season. The show is more now a collective thing. You'll hear from me. I'm still the predominant presenter on these things, but there is the little matter of passing it around a little bit. We've merged with what LMC Cast used to be in terms of the formatting anyway. So it's a little bit more fast and loose. It's not necessarily, the news or skits. No advertisements for Bowser's Bad Breath Begone pills and things like that. No Ram the Dragon in the background doing Yoshi impressions. I miss those sometimes. Much like I miss her. there's always a need to evolve. And Radio Redux has. So now, when you sit down and listen to this show, like I say, I'll be on there for the majority of the time, but it's not like it used to be where I was always on. Always. I would come back in from a trip to Japan, literally come through the door, no pause, sit down, do a radio show. Much to Blake Draco's utter horror. Now you'll hear more discussion bits. There's a soundtrack collaboration that Earthart led and features Skyblaze and Viper. That's coming up. That's been waiting for ages, and they've been very patient about that. You'll get to hear the first one of those in a couple of weeks. But there'll be more discussions about, favourite games, and we will have odd little asides and recordings from when we're doing games, things that are funny, things that are entertaining, things that are insightful. We'll continue to set the record straight when it needs setting. Stand up for things when people should be standing up. It's never been super popular. It's been popular at its time, but it's never been super, much like Sonic Rex. And even more like Last Minute Continue. It's part of the furniture of the Sega Sonic fan base. Even if we ourselves have turned away from that slightly, we still look back occasionally. Can you name any other show from back then that's still going now? Probably not. It'll keep going until such time that it needs to evolve again, perhaps. Become something different. Become something more. But until that time, sit back, let us run the titles for you, and let's entertain you for an hour. I'd like at this moment to thank Radio Sega, who has been the most amazing partner for Last Minute Continue since that time came around. Prior to 2012, it was roughly about sort of 2010, I would say, that things really started picking up. So we've been with them for 16 years plus at this point, on and off, because of, like I say, the 4 years of absence. But they've been amazing. Everybody from the Last Minute Continue team, past and present, who have helped out along the way. Particularly Earthart and Shadow Fox, who have helped with editing some aspects down the years. People who have been constant contributors, like Vija and Turbo and the Bell. All of those have helped put something into the mix of what Radio Redux now is. I was at Sonic Con in the UK. When was it now? Seems an eternity ago. And I was delighted to see somebody I had not seen for many years and who I love dearly. And that's Trippy. And I saw them and I rushed over to them and we had a big hug. And as she started talking to me about stuff I'd said on the previous week's Radio Redux show. And he's like, oh, I still listen to it when I can. So you said about you said you were attending because I was listening to the show. And I was like, I was floored. I was like, you still listen to the show? That meant the world to me. Meant the absolute world. So for those of you who have been around since, some of you from the beginning, and have aged with me, hopefully slightly more gracefully than I have, although let's be honest, compared to some in the community, I've aged very well indeed. Thank you for listening, and I hope you continue listening in whatever format this show takes. Like I say, next week we'll have a catch-up. We haven't had a catch-up with the team in ages. What are they doing? What have they been watching and listening to and playing? I don't know. It feels like a very long time since I've spoken to any of them, because work's been like that. Oh, like it doesn't always be like that. We'll have that show, and then we'll move on, and then we'll have the soundtracks, best video game soundtracks, which is a little dated now because at least one of the items has actually been released on soundtrack. Oh, I wish this would come out. Time makes fools of us all, especially me, it turns out. Up next on Radio Sega after this is, of course, Sega Mixer Drive, The Return. Rexy, new series. So you've got quite a busy, exciting time if you're listening on Radio Sega at the minute. Do go over to radiosega.net. Go on. They've got loads of stuff. Who knows? We might even have some new festival fun at some point with. Well, you'll see. You'll see. Now, there's a lot of things I could do for this slightly old school Radio Redux, in that it is just me, and it's just me talking. But I mean, I could tear Sega apart about something. They must have fucked up somehow, right? Are we still talking about Limited Run? Are we still talking about Limited Run and their really, really shit statues? We're still talking about that? I mean, we should be talking about that. Should we talk about a lot of Limited Run's practices, to be honest? They've changed stuff around in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and they didn't dare put the lesbians during Valentine's Day. You cowards. Tangle and Whisper coming soon. As well as, who else? Oh, Eyes. Because I is love. Therefore, that's the justification. Yes. Super Monkey Ball is all about love. Nothing says romance like sticking a chimp inside a plastic sphere and driving it over a bunch of fruit. However, up next instead of all of that, let's have another blast from the past, because you know what was a part of the very first episode of Radio Redux? Chaotix X. Chaotix X was my little love note to the radio dramas of yore. The Dick Barton theme was the end theme for it, and people know the Dick Barton theme but don't realise, despite the name, that it was the theme of an adventure radio show for the BBC. People know the sound. You'll know what it is. Chaotix X was my little radio drama. A radio drama about Team Chaotix as they went off and did things. Like I say, it was a tribute to the radio shows of the past. And what do you mean SEGA have done an official version of the exact same concept? Man, it would be really unfortunate if I had looked straight after that and gone, oh yeah, 20 years of Radio Redux and 20 years of Chaotix X. Anyway, they've done one with, you know, months and months of planning and, you know, money and official people. So instead, by counter-programming of this official radio drama, I bring you for the first time in how many years? Hang on. when was episode 200? Episode 200. Come on, I know you're here somewhere. Episode 200. You had that in... The final show took place in 2014. So 12 years, guys. For the first time in 12 years, we're going to have an episode of Chaotix X. It was written over the course of a week with just snatches of time. It was edited in under a day. It was put together in terms of recording and everything else in that same amount of time. Literally just over a day. Probably under that. And instead, here's a 30-minute program continuing Sonic. Continuing this. Why have I done this? I don't know, but I'm making a point. We were here first, damn it. It's bad enough SEGA just rehashing my old ideas and nicking my old ideas to use. Even back then, when SOA was doing it with frightening regularity. Even back when SEGA Japan and Sonic Team started visiting the website, and immediately thereafter they declared that the character, the boss of Sonic Riders, would be called Angelus the Gatekeeper, a series of words that came together in such a very specific order, and that just so happened to be one of the characters from the Sonic Rex comic, you know, the thing on the site they'd started going to. I'm not saying this is them nicking the idea in any way, shape or form. I'm just saying it's a mighty fine coincidence that somebody who had a background in the fan base just promoted this idea. It's okay. It's okay. It's not like Omega was reduced to a head in the Sonic Rex comics a whole, decade before it appeared in the official comics, just as, a sassy head that was carried around for ages. Anyway, here is 30 minutes of Chaotix X. Let's see how 20 years of difference in terms of production techniques and a 20-year-older voice manages. It was always cringy. It was always thrown together. But damn it, I'm pretty pleased with this. So, with thanks to a great number of people who also helped do additional voices, and I'll tell you that now. There's Turbo, and Earthart, and Shadow Fox, and Ninten 7. You've got very major roles for both Double Cross and Luna Arcanos. But otherwise, everything else is still me. You'd be horrified to know. Ladies and gentlemen, what is episode 6 of Chaotix X, but we'll call it season 2, episode 1. This is Tempus Fugitive.
Hey! Yeah! Corkin!
You're listening to Radio Redux.
Kick! Get there!
Chaotix!
Scan complete of Zone 3-2.
Yeah, I suppose that.
Yeah, okay, let's commence with Zone 3-3. Let's see if that's behaving itself today.
Files received from Asian branch.
Satellite coming into position for Green Hill in 5 minutes. All beacons and sensors remain green.
Duty log. This is Abraham Tower, commanding officer of the Guardian Union of Nations. It continues to be a period of peace. Between Dr. Eggman's absence, the dismantling of the criminal enterprises of other villains such as the Devil Chow and the general activities of GUN operatives, plus, I'll admit, the activities of a certain group of multicolored talking animals. Everything, for once, seems to be quiet.
Scan commencing.
Some people in positions of leadership would complain at that. See it as a terrible thing. I miss the action, they'd say. To me, quiet is nothing more than a symptom of a job well done.
Yeah.
Angel Island drift calculation now inputted.
Turns out Mr. Yuji Naka wasn't alright after all.
Oh, piss off, Gary. I said that 20 years ago. Stop holding it over my head, will you?
I'm just saying.
Those under my command might be more relaxed, but that doesn't mean we don't do our jobs. It may not be an invasion of killer robots or a firefight in the street with beings from beyond the stars. But this soldier is happy knowing it's a quiet Thursday. Meatloaf Day. God, I love meatloaf.
Roger, reporting in.
In any case, like every day, I'm not sure what to expect. Scans continue of known hotspots of activity, so I personally remain on guard. We're in the unknown, and the unknown is the thing that always strikes when you least expect it.
Scan complete of Zone 3-3. All cycles green. Moving to the next grid reference.
Hello? Blue Squad? Say that again. You're breaking up.
What in tarnation?
Breach! We have a containment breach in the Central Archive.
All points bulletin. We have a breach in the Central Archive. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. All
Intruders on base. Blue Squad engaging.
Lock it all down!
Code 12 in operation. HQ lockdown protocols engaged.
Somebody turn that damn alarm off and report!
Got it, sir.
Blue Squad reports 3 intruders apprehended on Central Archive, level 6.
1 through 5 report no issues? It doesn't make sense.
Suspects in custody. Found in possession of what appears to be stolen data stores at Delta level artifacts.
I want to know how 3 thieves managed to bypass 16 layers of world-class security without so much as breaking a sweat and gain access to some of the most secure assets on the planet. And I want to know now.
Unknown, sir. But I'm getting reports that they used a valid key sequence to access the archives.
Whose? Whose, damn it?
If what I'm hearing is accurate, you might want to call Team Dark in on this, sir. Because that code, it's someone they know.
Chaotix X. It has been some considerable time since we caught up with the Chaotix Detective Agency. In the months since their defeat of the Devil Chow and his despicable henchmen, things have been quiet. Too quiet, in fact. And work has all but dried up. With nothing to do, our trio have gone their separate ways, awaiting the next case that calls them to adventure.
Thank you for getting ice cream for me, Mr. Vector.
No problem at all, Cream. Did you enjoy the zoo?
It was fascinating. I liked that exhibit with those weird creatures. The ones with the deathly pale skin, the haunted looks, and the long hair.
I can remember an exhibit where...
They all had strange clothes on.
Strange clothes? That wasn't an exhibit, Creamy. They were paying guests too. Still, it was strange to see so many cosplayers there. Must be a convention in town.
I've not seen so much leather and buckles before. Not since I opened Mother's special drawer accidentally.
Yeah, well, that's far too much information.
You know, the one under the bed by the nightstand?
Yes. I mean, no, I know nothing about it at all.
You've gone all red.
Just eat your ice cream.
Will you be staying around again tonight, Mr. Vector?
I mean, that depends.
On Mother?
Of course. I wouldn't want to impose on your mother's hospitality too often.
Don't you want to? I like it when you're around. Mother's always so happy.
Oh, she is, huh?
I just wish you wouldn't argue so much at night.
Argue?
Always so loud, the pair of you.
Oh, no.
I don't know what you say to upset her, but I've never heard such language from her the other night.
That's not...
And yet she always seems so happy the next morning.
Cream.
Yes, Mr. Vector?
Eat your ice cream, sweetheart.
Picked an interesting night for it. I got your message. I take it you have something for me. So, the information proved to be correct? I was really hoping that wasn't the case. This is all corroborated, right? Of course it is. I know your work is thorough. Thank you, Omega.
Agent O.
Huh?
This unit does not go by that designation. I am Agent O, a mysterious contact of yours who does not wish identification.
Omega, you're a 4-foot-tall, walking arsenal, painted vibrant red and yellow. You weigh a literal ton. Wearing a trench coat and pulling a hat over your eyes isn't fooling anyone. Especially when the coat is a medium.
Agent O, the horned meat sack will refer to this unit as Agent O.
All right. Agent O. I'm sorry. By the spirits, what's gotten into you?
Shadow bid me I could not be stealthy. He will be defeated. I shall be victorious, for I am the pinnacle of tactical operations and silent running.
I wonder think we could be targeted this way. False team operating in the shadows, utilizing our name. I appreciate that GUN has already stopped its operations, but there is still a matter of how they gained access to your facilities.
As well as the credentials of all three of you. We leave the match to you, the crocodile, and the annoying creature. Remember, we did not meet. This information is strictly off record.
Well, whatever the case, thank you. We appreciate it.
You have the payment.
Here it is. The complete series box set of Assassination Classroom. Why you'd be interested in anime, I have no idea.
The name appealed to me. I watched the first 3 episodes, but Rouge refuses to share her Crunchyroll password further with me since they cracked down on password sharing.
Just get your own account.
You're kidding, right? I can't afford a subscription now they've got rid of the free tier, and I need to know if Chiba and Hayami get together. Is this what they call tugging?
I think you mean shipping.
Close enough.
Well, thank you, Agent O.
Do not thank this unit, meat sack. You have not seen page 7.
Page 7.
The bee. He disappeared from surveillance a week ago.
He's what?
No one knows where it is.
Well, hello, you two. Did you have fun?
Absolutely, Mother! Mr. Vector showed me all sorts of things at the zoo. They were so cute. They even have a special area now to rehabilitate lost and injured Chow. They were so cute!
Oh my, poor dears. How wonderful that's now in place.
As you can imagine, someone wanted to come home with all of them.
Mr. Vector, it wasn't like that.
Uh-huh, Creamy? Sure it was.
I'm going to my room, Mother. Come on, Cheese.
Okay, sweetie. I take it you had fun?
Of course. She was good as gold as always. As much as I tease her about the Chow, she's taking a more serious interest in such things now. Asking all kinds of questions about how they care for them. Therapies, about the Tikal Foundation and its wider goals.
It's sweet Knuckles and Amy set that up.
All that stuff in Station Square was before we caught back up again, but I know Nux feels pretty strongly about it. Whoever that girl was, she must have been quite something. She deserved better. I think that it's his way of making sure the crimes of the past are atoned for, as well as remembering her.
It was pretty smart of Amy to pressure the reward for the Ark incident to be setting it up financially.
I've learned never to get in the way when that girl is determined. Trust me, she makes a very scary boss. But yeah, Creamy, she was just so focused, you know? I can't remember when I decided what I wanted to do with my life, but I certainly wasn't that young.
You mean you weren't running around with a detective's hat and magnifying glass, looking for clues in the sandpit?
Not exactly many sand pits in the swampland.
You know what I mean.
That girl was born to take care of Chow. It's her calling. When the time comes...
She loves you, you know?
Well, you know how I feel, Miss Vanilla. About many things.
Miss Vanilla? You've not called me that in a while.
Just...
Vector.
Yes?
You're not fooling anyone, you know.
What do you mean? We've been so discreet and...
No, not that, you sweet man. Vector, I've loved that you've been so present here, helping around the house with Cream, with, you know. But I know you're not truly happy. Not truly. Vector, you're a detective, honey. You will always have a home here, but isn't it time you and the boys reopen the office?
Peace isn't exactly profitable for detectives. There's only so long you can go on finding lost cats and taking part in silly car races to pay the bills. Like little Cream loves the Chow, my passion has always been the mystery. The others might see it as a big joke. Oh, look, a murder mystery evening. Yes, how quaint. But unwrapping the secret, the plan, bringing what was unknown into the light. Oh, the truth can run, but not hide. But now there's just no need for it. Best to shudder things. Be grateful for the time we have, even the slow times. I mean, It certainly has had some upsides I could name.
Oh, Vector, my big, sweet, silly crocodile. You're an amazing father figure, but the Chaotix? That's your calling. Aren't you going to pick that up?
It's your phone?
True, but I'm not expecting a call.
But neither am I!
Hello? Oh, Mr. Vector, it's for you! It's Mr. Espio, and he says it's urgent!
I get the feeling adventure awaits, honey.
I doubt it. I don't get it, Espio. This gang pretending to be us just walk into a secure GUN facility without so much as a how do you do.
All done using our credentials, which they got how? Breaking our encryptions, and Tails' encryptions come to that, is no small feat.
The people that could do that, you can feasibly count on one hand. And most of them are allied with the Doctor.
Did he ever repay that bill he owed us?
Oh yes. Not that it did us any good in the long run. The lawyer fees drained us entirely, bar a handful of change. Blood-sucking parasites. But never mind that. As much as I'd like to lay this at the Doc's door, this isn't exactly his modus operandi. It doesn't smell like something he's cooked up. And I can't see his daughter doing anything like this either, as talented as she is.
The Devil Chow's rotting in a maximum security prison. And none of his crew are smart enough without him.
Except Agent Tangerine, and we know what happened to him.
So no idea as to the who, or the why.
Okay, let's rule out the possibilities. Not the Doctor. No robots involved, not his style. Not the rogues. Too advanced for them. I don't suppose the thieves use that little teleportation trick the hedgehogs do.
Chaos control? I'll admit the thought did cross my mind. But according to Omega, the locations of all 7 emeralds are currently known and secure. Rouge led a task force to check them all. Apparently, she even roped in Knuckles. She asked nicely.
Huh.
So you know they're taking it seriously.
Well, that just worries me more. What about fakes? We know facsimiles of the Chaos Emeralds can be duplicated with the same powers, if limited.
It's definitely not Chaos Control. Shadow once suggested Black Doom would have the ability to utilize Chaos Control. Since then, GUN HQ has sensors and passive scans for Chaos energies going 24/7, apparently. Tails himself developed them, so it's not that.
So what did these would-be thieves almost get?
Omega wouldn't say. GUN are being pressured to sweep it all under the rug.
Which means the commander has to look elsewhere, and as we're somewhat involved...
He came straight to us.
But there's something about this I just don't get. Why steal classified information? And whatever else they had, and then get caught easily before you get away out of doing all the hard work. You get in past the best security in the world like it's nothing, and then suddenly fumble everything. It doesn't make any sense. Unless
what?
Unless that was the point. Maybe the real goal here wasn't stealing at all. Maybe these crooks were just pawns of some greater plan. Think about it, Espio. Why go to the trouble of stealing our credentials specifically? There must surely be easier ways to get into GUN, other lower agents, weaker places of security. Why choose that unless...
Vector, are you saying
It's the only thing that fits. Someone wants us back in the game.
And now Charmy's missing too. It's like someone's gone out of their way to get our attention.
Looks like this is it. Ugh, it's more tacky than I thought it would be.
Can I help you, miss?
Ugh, stow the false pleasantries handbag. You know exactly who I am.
Wave the Swallow, Ace Extreme Gear Engineer.
And thief.
With pride.
What do you want?
Actually, it's what we want.
Jet the Hawk? What business do the Babylon Rogues have here? We're kinda busy.
It's very simple. As much as I hate to say this, I want to hire you. We don't work for crooks.
Please. We're much more than common crooks, you great green.
Wave! Enough.
Okay.
I apologize for her. She's got her reasons to be snippy.
I'll ask again. What do you want?
As I said, to hire your services.
And I said we were busy.
I only see two of you. No annoying pipsqueak zipping through the air. Word on the street is someone stole your idiot. Maybe. And what business is it of yours? Oh, it's most definitely my business, Crocodile. Because someone stole our idiot, too.
Storm's missing.
Now you see it, don't you? We have a common problem. One I'm even willing to work with you on. So what do you say, boys? The Chaotix and the Rogues, working together to solve this case. Because when it comes to this, no one, and I mean no one, steals from me.
Once upon a time you could be a bad guy and you'd live to see another day. But now they can't afford rent, SEGA need content, so they're back and have got much to say.
A power has arrived on your radio. The bad guys, well, they'd better flee.
Cause while the format's sold, the rights have been sold for the latest anniversary. The bee, it flies and it whines and cries, a chameleon disappears.
Then there's Vector, milk rabbit collector. It must be something about their ears.
Team Chaotix, the detectives are not milked out yet. Team Chaotix, SEGA need every dollar and cent. Their social plan did decide. Never done before. Remember when stealing used to be a good dealing, and the crooked life would always pay. Just how much is cribbed of script and ad-libs that we did right back in the day.
The devil Chow is probably the bad guy, ends at the mole and tangerine.
And if the New Zealand puffin' mafia turns up, well shit, I think we're gonna scream. Yeah, it's good you thought this through, doing not the same old things.
It's just a pity you decided to walk in our well-worn shoes.
Team Chaotix, the detectives you've not milked dry yet. Team Chaotix, SEGA need every dollar and cent. Their social plan did decide a from 2006. If that's how desperate you are, you are in more trouble by far than even we thought. Team Chaotix!
You're smaller than the report suggested. And you're right on time. Or rather, everyone else is off time. That's your trick, isn't it? Observant? For someone wrapped in shame. GUN does love its theatre. Bind the devil. Sleep better at night. Yet you don't look uncomfortable. Because discomfort implies uncertainty. And you didn't freeze the world just to admire the decor. I came to see the devil himself. Flattering. Most just want my head, not my opinion. Let me guess. GUNHQ didn't lose anything during your little raid. Not really. Interesting assumption. Oh, indulge me. You tripped response teams, stirred up the hornet's nest, let your underlings get scooped up and caught on every camera angle imaginable, all to steal something you didn't actually care about. So tell me, how many pawns did you sacrifice, just to make sure they noticed you? Pawns exist to be sacrificed for better positions on the board. Ah, spoken like a true mastermind, or perhaps a bored one. Attention accelerates outcomes. So the theft was bait. Chaos the message, and the casualties were trivial. You approve? I appreciate efficiency, not waste. Waste is subjective. Is it? You freeze time, walk untouched through consequences, and let everyone else bleed in your wake. That's not strategy. That's impatience dressed up as inevitability. Careful. You're assuming I need them. Or anyone. Oh, I know you don't. That's the problem. Oh, you can never get a good henchman, trust me on that, but they do surprise you. Now they'll come for me. Of course they will. GUN always does. Detectives love a mystery that keeps moving. It's really all this. You're not baiting the military. You're baiting the Chaotix. Amusing you wasn't the objective. No, but it's a lovely side effect. How marvelous. My powers are superior, and I will prove it. I've studied these detectives, know them intimately. They don't chase power. They chase patterns. But not you. You'll stay here. True. Watching. Listening. enjoying the show. Until you return, of course, asking for help, begging. Enjoy your chains, Devil Chow. Tempers fugitive. Time flies. Try not to trip over it in your haste to prove something. Safe travels. This will be fun. Let's see how the detectives handle this little slice of mystery. I do so love watching both sides tear each other apart.
Team Chaotix!
Was that good? I thought it was. 20 years of Radio Redux and 20 years of Chaotix X. Who'd have thought? Here's to another, not 20 years of Chaotix X, and hopefully not 20 years of Radio Redux either, to be honest. But here's to the next show, and the show after that, and the show after that. Although the show after this one is Sega Mixer Drive, Rexy, and the season premiere. Thanks for listening, everybody. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed it. And as I always sign off on these things, bye-bye for now.
This was a Last Minute Continue production. For more, please check lastminutecontinue.com.